and make you believe in yourself and make you believe that you can do this. My story, I think, is different than most. My story is different than what most people expect of me. You know, the number one question I get asked from people in Melaleuca, at Melaleuca events, the corporate staff, is, what company did you come from? And while I did not come from the network marketing industry, while I did not come from the MLM industry, I have so much respect for those that have, but that's just not my story. So my story is that I was just a mom. A mom at the time. I had 2 children under the age of 4 when I enrolled with Melaleuca, and I was pregnant with my third. I was a mom and a wife. I had a career in medical device sales at the time. And, Darren touched on this yesterday. Our whole world changed with one X-ray. Jeremy, you can show the slide of Maxine. This is my daughter, Maxine. This is her 4th body cast. When she was 15 months old, we took her in for an appointment. And like I said, our whole world came crashing down around us with one X-ray. She was diagnosed with a very rare spinal condition called idiopathic infantile scoliosis. And they told us that she was going to have to live in these casts probably for about 2 to 3 years. So at that time, we were living the American dream. I do air quotes because we bought our first home. We had nice cars, but we were also swimming up to our eyeballs in debt. And so when Maxine got sick and I was forced to quit my job to be able to care for her, we went from 1 income to 2, or from 2 incomes to 1, basically overnight. And then on top of that, the medical debt started to pile up, and then we couldn't afford to pay our taxes, and then it just snowballed out of control. And so actually by the time I was approached about Melaleuca by Aaron Clark, who's my enroller, we were having a garage sale in our driveway just to be able to buy some groceries that month. Next slide, Jeremy. So when Aaron approached me, when Aaron first approached me about Melaleuca, I was actually a hard no. So she had called me at the end of June 2017 and told me what she was doing. And my response was thanks, but no thanks. I said, I like my Target trip. I like the products that I'm using. Thanks, but no thanks. We ended up talking again early into July. My enrollment date is July 2nd, 2017. And she said, would you just be willing to just take like a look at this, get on this overview? And so the day I enrolled in Melaleuca was the day of the garage sale. And while I was like haggling with people over prices, I had an earbud in my ear. There's the garage sale. Out in front of my house, selling my purses and my kids' toys and our clothing, like I said, just to be able to. My plan was if we could get a couple $100, we could get some groceries and I could pay my oldest child's first month of private school. And I was watching the overview. Clinton Keller had done it. He's absolutely amazing, by the way. And I was listening to it with this AirPod, and I got off, and I remember calling Aaron. I'll never forget this day because I was like 6 months pregnant. We lived in California. It was very, very, very hot. That's why one of the main reasons I remember it. And I just kept saying, what you're telling me can't be true. Like what I just watched there's no way that this is true. It was me and my husband, Arthur, on speakerphone. And we had the catalog in one hand and the compensation plan in the other. And I was like, there's no way that you're telling me that if I find people to purchase products that they already use, okay, there's no extra expense here. Laundry soap, toothpaste, shampoo, vitamins, dish soap. You're telling me that if I find people that want to purchase those products, get them greener and cleaner, healthier for their family, eliminate toxins from their home, our prices are the same, if not less than what I was spending at Target, that they're going to pay me for that. And they're going to pay me what I'm looking at on this sheet. And she just kept saying yes. And so she sent me the enrollment link and I enrolled that day. Like I said, I did not, I was just a mom. I had a couple hundred friends on Facebook. My goal, initially my first month was I thought that maybe we could status advance to director 2 and make around $1,000. That was my goal. So To back up a little bit though, this is the day of the garage sale. We enrolled. I didn't do anything with this for about a week. I was really, I was paralyzed kind of in fear. I was very concerned about what people were going to think of me. I was afraid to call my contact list. I just generally was paralyzed by fear. And I'll also never forget this day because it was the day that changed my whole family's life forever. I remember walking through my living room and seeing my two daughters, Ella and Maxine, my two oldest biological daughters, sitting on the couch watching a show. And I stopped and I just looked at them and I said out loud to myself, is what other people think of me more important than being able to change their lives? And I just remember standing there and I said out loud to myself, no, it's not. It's not. And I grabbed my list and I grabbed my phone and I went out to my patio. And I started making phone calls. The first person I called was my dad, and he enrolled with me as a preferred member. One of the next calls I made was to Executive Director 6, Shauna Lambert, who was also a hard no. She was a hard no. I thought I was going to throw up when I went to make that call. When I talk to my organization, what I tell them is, could you imagine though, if I had not made that call? As sick as it made me feel in my stomach, as scared as I was, could you imagine if I had not made that call? She was a hard no. We ended up talking more. She ended up clearly enrolling with us. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I did not advance to Director 2 my first month in this in Melaleuca. I enrolled. I advanced my business to Director 6. And things just kind of, it's been a really crazy ride. Like people ask, how has Melaleuca changed your life? I was thinking about this while I'm dealing with my nerves. I do dishes. I'm stressfully doing my dishes before we get on here. I just keep saying that's not my story. And I'm not the type of person that look at this. My notes are written on the back of my kids' homeschool stuff. When I am a mom, there are toys behind this screen. It's you can't describe what this has done for us. What I know is that Melaleuca likely saved my child's life. We were at the point that there was no more money left. We were not going to make any more trips out to Salt Lake City to be able to get her treatment. It probably saved my marriage. We had over $500,000 in debt, which is all paid off now. My husband gets to be home with our children. He talked about that last night. We get to be a family. They don't have to worry. They don't have to see their mom stressed and crying like they did the day that I had that garage sale. So, for my family's life personally, but the amount of other lives that we've been able to change has been absolutely insane. So that's my story. That's how I got here. You guys kind of know what has happened since we've enrolled with Melaleuca. So now I want to hit on one point, and then I'm going to transition into the kind of meat and potatoes of this, which is how to transform your thoughts and dreams into reality. Before I do that, I just want to say one thing. When I said that I was very concerned about what people were going to think of me, the reason why was because I thought that at first glance, I thought that possibly Melaleuca was one of those things. And I do air quotes, which would be something from that industry, from the MLM industry, network marketing. And that was something that I personally didn't really want much to do with. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is that I know that yesterday there was some conversation, there were some things said during, throughout the course of the day that some people were upset about that were kind of referred to Melaleuca as network marketing or that industry. And I want to let you know that even though a very large portion of the people that I love who are in Melaleuca did actually come over from the MLM industry. Like I said, that is not my story, but I love those people dearly. They are good friends of mine. They are people that I would stand in front of a bus for. They have good hearts. They are really, really, really hard workers. And, thank God Melaleuca was here for them to escape from that industry, from the MLM life, from the rat race, from people being hurt. But that just is not what Melaleuca is. And so we just want to be careful about never comparing ourselves to that. MLM destroys lives. Melaleuca enhances lives. So I just wanted to say that before I move into that, because for my story, it was a big portion of why I was reluctant, and I could see where other people would be reluctant and nervous as well. So with that, I want to get into the meat and potatoes. This is where I will stop sweating and getting nervous. I get very nervous talking about my own story. I do much better when I'm training, when I'm talking about the things that I love. So when they first asked me to speak, I just kind of brain dumped. If I were talking to someone within my organization, what would I tell them that they need to do, right? How do we work this business? How does my organization do this? And I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about that. Spoiler alert, I don't know that I have the secret sauce for you. I'm going to give you my tips and tricks, but I truly believe at the end of the day, this all boils down to hard work, okay? So here's my six points. Number one, you have to make the decision. So, you know, a lot of times we think that we've made a decision. You know, you would think that the moment that I enrolled, that would be my decision, right? It wasn't, right? And you know, the moment that I truly made the decision, the moment of reckoning for me was that moment when I stood and looked at my kids and decided that what other people thought of me was none of my business, and that changing their life was more important, right? Your spouse can't make that decision for you. Your friends can't make that decision for you, and your enroller can't make that decision for you. You have to have that moment of reckoning inside yourself, and you have to continue to wake up and make that decision every single day, over and over and over again. There are so many days that I would rather, you know, clean out my closets and work in the garden than to do a working Zoom. You have to make that decision every single day. Okay, so that's point one. That one's an easy one. Number two, I want you to get emotionally attached to the outcome. So what do I mean by that? We've heard so much about your why, and I kind of was like, oh gosh, I'm going to like beat this dead horse. Because we've heard so much about your why, but that's because it's so important, right? And what we know is that success leaves cues. So if all of these people are talking to you about your why, it's very, very, very important. So what is your why? Why are you building this business? And this is where I want to expand a little bit. Again, when we're doing strategy sessions within my organization, or I'm talking to a new business partner, this is something that I hit home on, that I was taught by Darren at Road, which was, you know, Road was life-changing for me. Get to Road if you haven't. A lot of times we say things like, I need to make $500 so I can buy a new car. That's my why. Excuse me. And that seems like that makes sense. What Darren taught us at Road was, and hopefully I'm not giving this away and I don't get in trouble, but sorry. So you need to make $500 a month so you can buy a new car. So that what, right? The new car is surface. What's the true meaning? So it would be, I need to make $500 so I can buy a new car so that I can take my child that has special needs to their doctor's appointments. Well, why is that important? Because my child needs to get to their doctor's appointments. And right now, my husband's working all this overtime. We only have one car. He's stressed out from the overtime. We're fighting. I know, because I was all about that life before I started with Melaleuca. My husband working too much and being stressed out, and us fighting all the time. And I don't want to fight with my husband because I love my husband, and that's not the type of marriage that I want to have. And I don't want to portray that to my children. And that's a core value inside of me, right? That's not the car. You will stop working over a car. You will not stop working if you are very, very, very emotionally attached to your why. Okay, so that's the why portion of it. Jeremy, next slide for the dream boards, please. So after you get your why, I want you to go and stand outside. Some of you are going to think I'm crazy. I want you to go stand outside with your feet in the grass or the snow or wherever it is that you live. I want you to get your feet on Mother Earth, right? Very hippy dippy. These are all dream boards that I've made. I've crossed a lot of them off. Team of the Year is on there, which is wild. I'll have to go find that dream board. But I want you to go stand with your feet in the grass. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to feel like the air on your skin. And I want you to envision what your dream life looks like. What does your dream life look like? If you see some of mine, I actually have a picture of a straight spine in the bottom. That's my daughter, Maxine. I have things on here like our girls getting adopted. We're in the process of finishing our adoption. I have national director, moving to Idaho. These are all things that we were able to accomplish. But I want you to envision what it feels like when you get the $500 to buy that car, and what the feeling of the stress being taken off of you. You put little things on there, you put big things. I have like yoga. I want to start doing yoga. Right? Envision what that life looks like with your family, with that stress. I want you to be able to feel it internally. And then I want you to go get shellac and poster board and stickers and glitter. And I want you to make a dream board. This has been so integral to me and my business. I promise you. And I want you to hang it above your workspace. If you don't have a workspace, you need to find one. That doesn't mean you need to go out and, buy all of this stuff. My workspace for a long time was the recliner in my living room with a laptop. And I had my dream board hung up on the living room wall. Everybody thought I was crazy. It's actually in one of these pictures. That's fine. This business is simple. It's not easy. What do I mean by that? When I say this business is simple, again, we're talking about laundry detergent and toothpaste, right? But it's not easy, and you will be told no, and you will make hard phone calls, and people, business partners that you were so excited about will quit on you, or they will never show up, or the person that you thought was going to get on the overview won't. You will be disappointed in this business, and I will not lie to you about that. But if you are strongly and emotionally attached to your why, and you can envision that dream life, if you continue to keep going, like, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay. So number 3, making a plan. You can make the decision and you can dream all you want, but if you don't have a plan, I don't know what the saying is. It's like a dream without a plan is just whatever that saying is, that's true. So Jeremy, can you show me the whiteboards, please? Okay, so this is something that my organization does. These are various all throughout my organization, but you should start every month. This is also something that we learned from Clinton Keller. You should start every month mapping out your month. We do this on the first of every month. What is your goal this month? What do you want to accomplish? And then you need to figure out how you're going to get there. These are for some of our senior directors and above. But how are you going to get there? So you need to have a plan. And you map out how many people you need to get to the overview, how many approaches you need to do to get that many people on the overview, right? So even if you are shooting for director this month, you need to have a plan and you need to map that out, okay? The next thing that we do in regards to making a plan, and this is where we really implement the success cycle throughout my organization, is working Zooms. So right now, we're currently doing 4 working Zooms per day. We do 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 11 a.m., and 7 p.m. Oh, perfect. There's the working Zoom slide. So most of my organization is all throughout the country. And for you guys right now, I think that this has always been what we've done. But for a lot of people that are trying to navigate this new life that we're living, this is what we do. Okay. So what do I mean by we implement the success cycle here? We get on 4 times a day. We don't get on all 4 times. Some people get on all 4 times. We have a different leader that runs each Zoom. And what we do is we state our goals for the day. What is the goal? Okay. We have an overview tonight. All right, my goal is to get 10 people on that overview. So now you have stated your goal and you have a group of people that are holding you accountable, right? And then you have a group of people that are sitting there with you to help you make that scary call or send that scary message or do that scary follow-up. And then we're celebrating each other, right? So whether you get a yes or a no, the fact that you have shown up and tried to work your business, you're going to be celebrated and we're going to tell you good job. Something that I want to tell you guys about this, I have someone in my organization, her name's Ursula LaForme, and she was on my Kauai Fast Track team last year. She's probably on one of these Zooms somewhere. We also have a lot of fun. You can see we've got our kiddos on here. We're laughing, we're giggling, all the great things. But Ursula was on my Kauai Fast Track team last year. She was a newly advanced director 2. She advanced to director 3 during the Kauai period. She took the trip to Kauai. It was really amazing. And then she kind of throughout the summer hit a flat spot in her business. She had been hit with some people that had canceled. She was navigating kind of just different stuff throughout her business. And she hit a flat spot, and she stayed flat for 8 to 10 months, roughly, at right around director 4. In December of this last year, so December of 2019, she came to me and said, Kim, do you mind if I start doing a 4 a.m.? It's 4 a.m. my time. It's 5 a.m. her time. 4 a.m. is really early. She said, do you mind if I do, open up a 4 a.m. Zoom? And she said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to work every single day until I advance my business to senior director. And if people get on with me, great. But if not, I'm going to have the Zoom link open and I'm going to be there. So this was another one of those where I was like, all right. Oh, there she is. Ursula is on here because she was on my Quai Fast Track team. And I was like, all right, like that's a big commitment, girl. But like, if you want to do it, I'll open it up to the team. So that was back in December. My organization, some of them, their favorite part of their day is getting up at 5 a.m. and having coffee with Ursula. And what I have seen happen with her personally is I have watched her develop into the most amazing, incredible leader, one of the strongest leaders throughout my organization. And then something also kind of crazy happened. In February of this year, she advanced her business to director 6. And then in March, she advanced her business to director 7. And then in April, she advanced her business to director 8. Never in the history of her 2 years with Melaleuca has she ever advanced 2 months in a row, let alone 3 in a row. And this month, the goal, we are hoping that she will advance her business to senior director. So I want to tell that story because of how proud I am of her, but also for the power of what these Zooms have done for us and implementing the success cycle and holding each other accountable the best way that we can. And we do this, we live and die by our schedule and by our Zooms. And we do this over and over and over again every single day, like Groundhog Day. Okay, so number 4 is doing the work. So like I said, there's lots of tips and tricks, but you got to put in the hours, you got to put in the work. One of the best things that my father ever did for me, he worked 3 jobs and had a paper route on his lunch break. My dad was a single dad that raised 2 kids alone, and he taught me a really strong work ethic. And I knew my whole life that if I found, because I was never good at anything. I've never been good at anything my whole life, other than being a mom and Melaleuca. And I knew that if I ever found something, though, that my success and my ability to provide for my family and provide them a better life was based off of my work ethic, I knew that we could do that. And, Frank often talks about Melaleuca being for the little guy. I am the little guy. My organization is a team of little guys, really hardworking moms that would do anything to change their life. That's the secret. And so here, your work ethic determines your success, okay? You get to choose. You get to choose every day whether or not you're going to work your business, and you get to choose if you're that emotionally attached to your why, and you get to choose if you're going to come up with a plan, and you get to choose if you're going to do the work. What's important, though, is making sure that you're doing the right work versus doing busy work. This is something I want to expand a little bit more on. Everything should always circle back to the critical business building activities. So I say this because 2 reasons. One, I have been caught in this trap myself. I have had many a day that it's 2 p.m. and I am trying to figure out what I did today. And I'll be like, well, I talked to Aaron for an hour, and like I folded a load of laundry, and I called Shauna, and I checked some Facebook messages. But like, I felt like I was busy all day, but I wasn't doing anything, right? And then I also have, I'd be like, if I could see you guys, I'd be like, raise your hand if you've had a business partner tell you they don't have time. We have 6 kids. We have a newborn. We are homeschooling our children, not by choice anymore, just like many of you guys out there. What I learned was that you have to find time in the day. That was when we had started doing the 5:30 a.m. Zooms way back when, was that we didn't have time. So we had to make a conscious effort to find the time. So I will have marketing executives, business partners that just tell me they don't have the time to do this. And what I tell them to do is I'd like you to go do a time audit. So for 24 to 48 hours, I want you to write down every single thing that you do. If you watch TV, I want to know about it. If you eat a snack, I want to know about it. If you drive your kids to school, I want to know about it. If you scroll Facebook, I want to know about it. If you're working your business, I want to know about it. And I want to know what you're doing when you say that you're working your business, right? I want to know exactly what activities you're doing. Okay. And then I bring them back. I have them bring it back to me and we go over it together. And 99.9%, I actually cannot remember a time where I didn't look at it and find some time that this person could work their business. We think that we are too busy. There's always time. Okay. So it circles back to the critical business building activities. And what I tell people is don't go to bed at night if you haven't at least spent an hour on the critical business building activities. To me, that all circles back to the first four. But for me, in my opinion, personally, number one is the most important. This is a numbers game, you guys. Adding names to your contact list. If you are not putting names on your contact list daily, how can you get people to the overview? And if you can't get people to the overview, how can you get them to enroll as a preferred member? If you can't get them to enroll as a preferred member, how can you get them to want to build a business, right? How can you get them to love the products? You have to be adding names to your contact list every single day. And I believe that you should be throwing it all at the wall and seeing what sticks. And what do I mean by that? I mean, networking, functions like Chamber of Commerce, play dates, coffee dates, borrow baskets, in homes, using social media, things like LinkedIn. Okay. And you do this every single day, adding names to your contact list. I want to tell you guys, last thing I want to talk about on doing the work and the numbers game is this. Why is this so important? It's all about your ratio. So for me, my face gets a little bit hot saying this, for me, I enroll a lot of customers. I enroll a lot of customers, and I know that there are people out there that do not, right? That they focus more so on enrolling business partners. For me, I enroll a lot of customers and I try to find my ace. That has served me very well. What do I mean by that? My 8th enrollment is Executive Director 6, Shauna Lambert. My 20th enrollment is Senior Director 2, Stephanie Schumann. My 38th enrollment is Executive Director 2, Brianna Borchers. My 61st enrollment is soon to be, hopefully, Senior Director Ursula Laforme. Then I had somewhat of a dry spell in my customers, okay? My 140th enrollment was my newest Advancing Senior Director, Deanna. Then my 161st enrollment was Executive Director 2, Kelly Piasek. My 162nd, I enrolled them back to back on the same day, is Executive Director 6, Amber Springer. My 190th enrollment is my newest Senior Director 3, Clarissa Martinez. Those are all of my personally enrolled senior directors and above. In the process of that, I enrolled some really amazing up-and-coming leaders. Jen Bourbonnais, Megan Medler, Lindsay Short, Tara Figueroa. I'm forgetting one of their names, and it's going to haunt me until the day I die. But she just advanced to Director 3, and I'm so nervous, and there's so many viewers. But when I remember, I'm going to send you a message and tell you how much I love you, and I could never forget your name other than I am hot. But they all earned the Mexico Fast Track. They are all amazing. Sarah Collison, I love you. Okay. They all earned the Mexico Fast Track, and they will all be senior directors. So for me, that's what works. You need to know your ratio, right? Maybe for you, it's 1 in 4, right? Maybe it's 1 in 2. But for me, it's putting numbers on the board, and it's adding those names to my contact list, and it's doing it over and over and over again every single day, like Groundhog Day. If you can get really good at doing the mundane activities that you don't really love to do, that don't seem fun, you can win here. Okay, number 5, creating a system that's duplicatable. Can you show me the Shauna slide, Jeremy? So this is Shauna. You've heard a lot about her. Again, she's my best friend. This is us. This is us working at Quest last year, mapping out Quai Fast Track teams. The reason why I want to talk about this when it comes to duplication is that we are pinky in the brain. Okay, so I am like wild, sloppy action. I'm like, let's do this. Let's roll. Let's go. Like I am not thinking. I'm like, let's go. She is the one that keeps me centered. She is the one that keeps me grounded. She is the one thinking of all of the angles. Here's another tip. If you don't have a best friend to do this business with you, you need to find one. But together, her and I have been able to create a system that has been very duplicatable within our organization on inviting to overviews, adding to contact lists. And so I wanted to show this picture of us working together. You have to create a system that works for you, right? So if you have found out that giving out borrow baskets or doing coffee dates is the best way for you to get someone to an overview, then you need to do that over and over and over again, like until your head's going to explode, right? That's duplication for you, but you also need to find duplication throughout your organization. So the two of us together have been able to create a system of units that has really, really, really changed the face of our business. And then one other shout out I want to give, and we'll move on from here, is Amber Springer came in. You want to talk about duplication. That chick has like 37 directors. I mean, I'm not even kidding. She taught me the meaning of duplication, and she taught me the meaning of creating systems where people can win. And what I want to just hit on there is don't ever be too good to learn from someone. You know, she was my brand new business partner, but she kind of blew me away. Don't ever be too good to learn from someone. Number 6, this is our last one. I know I'm over on time, so I'm sorry, Mark, is living the mission statement. When all else fails, if you go back to that mission statement of enhancing the lives of those you touch by helping people reach their goals, you will win here. I was told very early on in my business that if you don't like the size of your check, to go find more people to help. Now, whether that means that you're finding more people to help ditch toxins from their home, or more people that you're helping to deal with their eczema, their children's eczema, or whether it is that you're finding more people that need peak performance, okay? Or whether it's you need to find more people as business partners. If you go back to that mission statement and you just really focus on helping people, you will win. For me, one of the worst times in my business was when I really, really, really wanted national director. I was obsessed with it, and I became not a fun person to work with. I was so obsessed with the goal that I couldn't see straight. I felt like I had something to prove. And when I took a step back and just focused on the critical business building activities, when I focused on my ratio and putting numbers on the board and seeing who I could help, it changed my whole business. Another story of that is Brianna Borchers, who you saw yesterday at General Session. When I say that Brianna has had every bad thing happen in her business, I mean business partners quitting, missing advancements, like a lot of them, and multiple months in a row, flat spots, and she just continued to show up. But one of the other parts about Bree's story is that she had become somewhat obsessed with the outcome. There's Bree. Sorry, I forgot about the slide. There she is. You got to see her yesterday, so probably didn't need to put her on these slides, but this is us at the awards gala last year when she was a director 7 and told me that she would be back as an executive director 2. And this is her very recently working her business as an executive director 2. But she became really obsessed with the outcome of senior director, so much that she couldn't see straight. And we had to have conversations about just doing the work and showing up every single day. I want you to be emotionally attached to the outcome of your why and why you want to build this business in your life. I want you to be emotionally unattached to the work, right? I don't want you to be obsessed about the yeses or the nos. I want you to be obsessed with helping people. I want you to be obsessed with helping people. That takes all of the pressure off of you. When she was able to do that, she brought in 2 new builders into her business, Laura and Bree, who both came over and were actually escaping from that other industry. And that changed the face of her business. And she hit that amazing goal of going from director 7 to executive director 2 since last convention. So if all else fails, add names to your contact list, do the work, and live the mission statement. Okay, so in closing, I'm sweating. I'm very hot. I hope I was able to reach some of you guys today. What I want you to know is that I'm living, walking proof that you can do this. Like I said, I've got my notes written on my kids' homeschool stuff. There's toys all over the house. I believe in you. I believe in the little guy. I believe in the underdog story. And there's nothing else but Melaleuca. What other choice is there out there for us, right? We are the only wellness company. And we are the only wellness company that offers the amazing, incredible, life-changing products. We have people within our organization who their lives have been changed by just switching to EcoSense, right? Using peak performance. There's nothing out there like what we have product-wise. Again, to go back to the beginning, that costs the same, if not less than what you were using before, is healthier for your home, safer for the environment. Okay. And there's no compensation plan out there. There's no other option. So with that, these are my last closing thoughts. If not now, then when? Okay. So if not now, then when are you going to make the decision? Okay. Like, the time's going to go by. You might as well work your business. And if not you, then who is going to pay your bills? I love this. This was something I had actually heard from Irma Mospian it was a Quester in SCLC. She said she was doing a call with her enroller at one point. She told her to look out the window. And like, Irma's like, okay, like what? Like, she looks out the window. She's like, nobody's out there. And her enroller's like, yeah, exactly. Nobody's out there standing in line to pay your bills. Right. So if not you, then who is going to change your life? And if not Melaleuca, then what? And I will tell you, there's nothing else out there. And right now, in the times that we are in, with what is happening in the world, like, you do not want to miss the opportunity that we have here. So what I would challenge you to do is give yourself 1 year of all out massive action and see if it doesn't change your life. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, we want to just say, wow, thank you, Kim. That was just an incredible presentation. I have got pages and pages and pages of notes that I have taken, and I just wanted to just give you a big thank you. And I know you turned your camera off already. You're probably getting a big drink of water, but from all of us all over North America, from Canada to the U.S. and Puerto Rico, we just want to tell you just a big thank you for all the preparation and the 6 wonderful points that you just shared with us. And I think you left it just wonderful right at the end. Let's take massive action. So everybody, thank you for joining us for this virtual workshop. We have had historic 2 days, and we've had powerful presentations going over all the critical business building activities and going over our world-class products. So thank you for joining us and being part of this historic moment. We wish you all well. We'll see you tonight at the gala. Remember, that starts at 6 o'clock. The doors open at 5:30. Get dressed up in a nice suit, shirt, and tie, and dress this for the ladies, and come and join us with a beautiful meal. And let's honor marketing executives all over Melaleuca country. We'll see you tonight, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.